Thank you for joining me. I'd like to talk to you today about something that is so profound, so all-encompassing, that everyone who is a living, breathing person should be involved in one way or another. Now, we are here in my very, very special working environment where I spend so much of my time bringing the gift of memory to people all over the world. Maybe you've seen me, Memoryman, on television or on Memoryman.com doing feats of memory. For instance, setting world records, as I did on CNBC in front of 35 million people live. Well, the important thing about that is that I was involved at that time in exciting people about the power of their own mind, about their own memory, about education, about thinking. For 38 years now, I have been teaching people how to sit at a desk, take information out of their mind, and pass a test. Whether it's the test of life, for instance, remembering the 3 things you have to say, remembering your keys, what principles in business you're involved in, or the test that students take, where they sit at a desk, are asked to recall information out of their mind and put it on a test paper. I have been involved in that process. Through my research and development, I have developed systems that allow people to use their memory more effectively. So why am I here talking to you today? Why have I asked you to take your very, very valuable time and listen to me? Is it because I'm called Memoryman? Is it because I hold world records? Is it because of the comic book which was based on my work in the field of memory? Those are hopefully the trappings, the things that will entice you to give you the feeling that maybe he has something important to say. Well, I believe I do. See, whether you're a philanthropist and you want to help people out of the goodness of your heart, or you're a business person and you need to be successful commercially, what I'm about to tell you about will fill both those requirements. You see, through the magic of the internet and technology, we can bring the gift of memory to everybody in the world. Every single human being needs to know how to use their memory. Now, I have taught in over 25 colleges and universities, and I've watched the transition from people who had no self-confidence to individuals who had tremendous self-confidence, soared, and were very, very successful. So, please join me in this amazing journey, in this amazing venture. Memory is the backbone behind all knowledge. Even in Greek mythology, and Greek mythology was a series of stories that made sense of the world. And in so doing, they had 9 areas of knowledge, the 9 muses, the goddess of love, poetry, and dance, the goddess of history, comedy, and tragedy, the goddess of astronomy, oration, and music. They took the world of knowledge and separated it into 9 areas, and they made the mother of those 9 muses the goddess of memory, Mnemosyne, because they knew, as we all do now, know that memory is the backbone behind all learning. When a student sits at a desk and has to take a test, they have to recall information out of their mind. There's a system for that. We don't ask students to automatically, on their own, learn how to divide, subtract, and multiply. No, we give them the methodology. Well, something happened in the educational world. There was a lapse. There was a gap. There was a piece of the puzzle missing. And that was the systematic way to recall facts and concepts that we've learned. We've seen amazing advances, whole shifts in technology. Who would have dreamed that hundreds, literally 500 million people would be interacting on a social network? Who would believe that someone would be searching through a search engine, yet hundreds of millions of people are? And who would believe that hundreds of millions of people will be studying through the Memoryman system? Think of a time in the future where hundreds of millions of people would never ever think of learning anything without doing it with the Memoryman tool. And imagine that you're part of that. And you're thinking back to today when you first decided, yes, I want to buy 5 million memberships for students in cities all over the United States. Now, of course, we have the course in many, many languages. So you could do this in France or in Germany or in Japan or any other major country. Go to Memoryman.com. There's a very, very interesting piece of footage there. That piece of footage is of 3 children trying to remember 10 presidents. With their natural memory, they're very unsuccessful and they get 4 or 5. I sit with them, and in the same amount of time, 5 minutes, I teach them how to remember a different set of 10 presidents, and each one of the children get all 10 correctly. Watch that. This is a golden opportunity. There'll never be a more interesting endeavor than that involved with bringing the gift of memory to children, to students, to individuals. Think of your own children. Think of your own grandchildren. What would it be like tomorrow if they could triple their memory today? Now, when you go to Memoryman.com, you'll see a very, very interesting display. And in that display, we ask people to be involved in getting a course. Well, we call it a membership. The heart of it is knowledge. Knowledge how to sit and take a test. On that course, we have 8 hours of audio instruction, books, study guides, and manuals. And because we call it a membership, it's an ongoing experience where we give people more and more education, more and more knowledge on how they can pass a test. Now, how can you be a part of this? On a commercial level, you can purchase this membership, this knowledge, this key to success. And in so doing, you can have your advertising in the course, in the membership. Think of Google or Facebook. These are free services, and people buy advertising in those services. So too, the Memoryman membership is, in this case, for the individual receiving it, a free service, because you hopefully will buy this free service for them. For $10, we can get an individual a complete membership to the Memoryman knowledge. Aristotle said knowledge is key, and knowledge is recollection. Because if we can't recall something, then we can't apply it, we can't use it. So imagine an individual in high school who received a sponsorship, a membership, all this knowledge for a year's time for $10 from you. Let's say you were a corporation. Let's say, for instance, you were the Dodge Corporation and you had a Dodge truck to sell. And that student for a year was successful in school, and every time he or she used the course, they saw your logo, your ad. Now, if they click through to that ad, they would then see more about your wonderful product, your wonderful car, in this case, the Dodge truck. And you would get an accounting. When you buy an ad on Google or Facebook, you get an accounting. There's one accounting for when someone views your logo or your ad, when they look up something. If they look up how many feet Mount Everest is and they see a picture of your product, that's one accounting or one slight charge. And then if they click on that because they want to learn more about that product, there's a second accounting or a second charge. So too, we have the same system in the Memoryman sponsorship. Now, when that student gets into college, and he or she got into college because he or she was able to recall on a test, and in his or her subconscious mind and in his or her conscious mind, he realizes that your product helped him or her get to college. Guess what car or truck he or she is going to buy? Guess what product he or she is going to buy? There's no greater advertising than when you help someone succeed. So here we have a wonderful situation. Not only are you helping somebody change their lives, but you're having an intimate relationship with them on a scholastic, educational, successful level. There's no greater advertising than memorability. There's no greater element in advertising than memorability. And what greater product would they remember than yours? Now let's talk to you as a philanthropist. Maybe you're not in business, yet you're a philanthropist. You're someone who wants to help somebody. Well, once again, we can get millions of people these memberships, these courses, absolutely free. Think of Bill Gates. If you've listened to his interviews, you'll notice that he talks about the fact that he only wants to spend his money, his philanthropic money, and the people who've given him the philanthropic money, on two areas. One is health for the underprivileged, and the other is education. He's not interested in any other philanthropy. So when you get involved in education, you're getting involved in the most important area of giving. Let's go back to that person who lives in the underprivileged area of the world and is living below the poverty line. If we can teach them how to remember the 4 or 5 elements of hygiene, how to grow a potato, how to build a hut, how to even do something on a commercial level, we can change their lives. You've heard the expression, you can hand someone a fish or you can teach someone how to fish. Well, we can teach people how to do this. That $10 can get that person a 1-year membership. So here you are. You're a captain of industry or you're a philanthropist. And your desire as a captain of industry is to get the best advertising dollar you can. And if you're a philanthropist, you want to do good. So let's say you wanted to buy 10 million memberships. At $10 a membership, that is $100 million. Let me say that again. If you'd like to buy 10 million memberships, that is $10 a membership, and that's $100 million. The important thing is that 10 million students will receive a tool that will allow them to be successful in school and then in life. And if you're a philanthropist, those students will know that it is you who allowed them to be successful. And if you're a captain of industry, or obviously in the business world, you will know that your advertising dollar will go farther than it ever will. Think of that student who is successful in school, and for a year they were studying through the use of the Memoryman membership and the Memoryman knowledge. And now they're in college, or they're successful in college, and every day they used the course, they saw your ad, your logo, your product. Guess what product they're going to be allegiant to yours. Why don't you call me and we'll get you involved in bringing the gift of memory to people all over the world. Think of your favorite city. Were you brought up in Chicago, New York, Miami, San Francisco, Seattle? Wherever that city was, it's dear to your heart. Or maybe your alma mater is Harvard or Stanford or City College in New York or any other college, and you want to get the memberships to that school. Whether it's a city that you want to be involved in, or a school that you want to be involved in, or a old age home or a hospital or what have you, we'll get those sponsorships to those people. How surprised would you be if sometime in the future your colleagues praised you for the amazing decision you made? And if you're a philanthropist or the head of a foundation, what greater experience can you have than getting that letter from that one student, whether he or she be in 8th grade or 5th grade or in college? And that letter, as you open it, it says, "Thank you, the so-and-so foundation. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Smith from the Smith Foundation. Thank you so much for giving me that course. Thank you so much for telling me it was available because I was about to drop out of high school, and guess what? I'm a doctor now, I'm a lawyer now, or I'm a father of 3, and because of you I was able to pass the bus driver's test or the post office test, or get into the military and pass the military test. Because of you, Mr. and Mrs. Philanthropist. It comes down to the mind. It comes down to the brain. It comes down to the ability to think, to remember what you want to do. This is our responsibility. This is our contribution to society. We are a for-profit company. We are not nonprofit. But think of Bill Gates, who might want to buy 1 million computers for inner city students. He goes to a for-profit corporation and he buys those 1 million computers, and then he distributes them to the school systems. So too, we are a for-profit company. We are a for-profit company, and we are not nonprofit. So when you purchase, for instance, 10 million sponsorships for $100 million, we take that $100 million, and yes, we make a profit out of it, but we also spend part of the money we receive in actually advertising to students that the courses are available. That's a very, very important part of the process. Think of, once again, Bill Gates' wonderful work in philanthropy. You might have read about it, how he got involved with other people who have wealth, and they signed an actual agreement, a promise, to give a great part of their wealth to charity, not necessarily his foundation. Now remember, I said that Bill Gates is involved in only 2 areas of philanthropy. One is health and the other is education. Now let's talk about his health foundation, or the health area. Let's say he wanted to get 1 million vials of vaccine to an underprivileged country. He just doesn't buy the 1 million vials of vaccine and drop it off in the middle of a field. He has to spend millions and millions of dollars letting the villagers know that this vaccine exists, educating them to what it does, alleviating their fears. They may have cultural biases against taking a vaccine. And then he has to get those people to the facility to actually receive the vaccine. So a large part of the money that he has is used to deliver the vaccine, advertise the fact that the vaccine exists, and get the people to the place where the vaccine is. So too, we spend a large amount of the money letting people know that the Memoryman sponsorship exists for them. You might be driving down a city street and see a giant billboard that says, "Get your free Memoryman sponsorships sponsored by the so-and-so foundation or the so-and-so company." We advertise and let people know that these sponsorships are available. Have you ever heard of the word alchemy? Well, alchemy means basically making gold out of nothing. Well, with memory, we can actually make gold out of nothing, because you can get tremendous advertising ability by being a sponsor of this membership. And you can get tremendous philanthropic results by bringing the gift of memory to people, children, adults all over the world. Because once someone has those tools, they can soar and do anything. Let's say you were fortunate enough to be able to purchase 1 million courses for the inner city school systems. Let's take Chicago, for instance. And then we would deliver 1 million usernames and passwords to the Chicago school system. This way, each student would have their individual username and password. They would be able to access the course. The course is the backbone behind the 1-year membership. The course consists, as I said, of 8 hours of audio instructions, books, and study guides, and then an ongoing interactive experience where we send more and more knowledge to students. And we can make the membership more and more robust depending upon how many memberships we actually sell. And of course, you as a philanthropist can do this anonymously, or you can have your name in the course. It could be right in there, right in the course, and it could say, this course was brought to you by the so-and-so family or the so-and-so foundation. Think how beholden, how grateful that student would be if he or she knew that you were responsible for them becoming successful in life and in school. There's a 8-year-old girl out there who has trouble learning how to spell words. And that creates a self-image of failure. And that self-image of failure can lead to all kinds of problems. Because when we have low self-esteem, terrible, terrible consequences occur. But if we can show that young girl that she can remember her 8 or 9 spelling words, that all she needs is a methodology, just like she had a methodology for math or division, subtraction, then she can be successful. We need to do this together. We need to bring the gift of memory. And what a golden opportunity to advertise your business and make an individual allegiant to your product and service for life. You'll get no greater advertising dollar than buying a membership for someone else. You know, we've spoken about the Memoryman membership, which hopefully by now, being a sponsor is something you want to do. If you go to the Memoryman website, you'll see that that sponsorship is available. But you'll also see that we actually sell the membership to the public. What does it cost? It's currently selling for $100, but it normally sells for $360. And you can now get this membership for others for $10. But how about yourself? How about your own mind, your own ability to recall in everyday life? Why don't you try the Memoryman membership yourself? Now you can spend $100 and get that membership, or you can ask for one free. Because remember I said we give them away free. People can buy them, or if they need a membership, they can get it free. If you know a school system that needs the membership, let us know. That's the beauty of it. There's a wonderful circle of giving and success in commerce. Let us know what school system needs the Memoryman membership. Let us know what person needs the Memoryman membership, and we'll show them how to get the Memoryman membership. So we spend a lot of our time letting people know that these memberships are free of charge. Now, if you'd like to try the membership, you can go on and purchase one for yourself, or simply email us saying, we would like the membership free of charge, and we'll get you the membership. Because after all, aren't we saying that we give the memberships away free of charge? Well, we do. And we're in action doing that every day. Now, how would you, step by step, bring the gift of memory through a sponsorship? How would you get your advertising in the sponsorship? Or how would you, as a philanthropist or a foundation, bring the gift of memory to others? If it's a substantial amount, as I say, if it's a substantial amount, simply call Memoryman.com. And either I or someone else will speak to you. If you go to Memoryman.com, there's a sponsorship form that describes how things are done. And you can take that sponsorship form and fill it out. And it's quite self-explanatory. This is a labor of love. This is one of the most joyful experiences you can ever imagine. Yes, I hope you profit enormously in your company. And yes, I hope your heart is full of gratitude and love as you bring education to the world. We've spoken about a few things today. One, the importance of memory for everybody. A practical application for memory would be a student's success in school, which is based on their ability to recall information out of their mind and put it on a test paper. And then we've talked about the fact that we all use our memory every day. We've said that we want you to join us in bringing the gift of memory to everyone absolutely free. Everyone deserves this. It's almost an inalienable right. And we talked about two ways it could be done. One, on a philanthropic level. Yes, you can buy 1 million courses for instance, the school system in Chicago, or 50 courses for an individual small classroom. Now, we also talked about the commercial aspect. There's no greater advertising than advertising in the Memoryman membership. The greatest element in an advertisement is memorability. And obviously, if your ad is in the sponsorship, in the membership that someone gets, they're going to remember your product, and most likely you'll get more for your advertising dollar than in any other way. I'll talk to you personally about this if you have the ability to bring students into this experience. The 1-year membership, the 1-year sponsorship. What a wonderful world it is. Take time out and watch those 3, we call them the 3 miracle children. Because we took 5 minutes and gave them those 5 minutes to learn 10 presidents on their own, and they could only remember 4 or 5. Yet I worked with them with the Memoryman system, and in the same 5 minutes, another 10 presidents, they were able to get all 10 presidents correct. And that is an encapsulated example of what we can do for people all over the world and children all over the world. Google is free, Facebook is free, and the Memoryman educational experience, the experience that allows people to succeed in life, is absolutely free. Now, I have enjoyed teaching and training students for 38 years, and I hope for as long as I'm on this earth, I can keep giving the gift of memory, because I've received those letters of thank you. I've watched students who are about to drop out of high school become successful, graduate college, and have a wonderful life. Almost 3 generations of students. Because this is my life's work, this is my life's mission. I've fallen in love with the art and science of memory and what it can do for people. And I've enjoyed spending this time with you. You know, your time is your most valuable asset. You have a finite amount of time, and you shared it with me. And I hope you will continue to share the love of every human being's potential through the use of their mind, through the use of their memory, through their ability to recall. I thank you so much. And once again, good memories to you.